Hello, everybody. This is Liz from Augusta, and today I have a very special guest, and that is Thomas Salazar from Littleton, Colorado, and he is our very first franchisee. And so I wanted to introduce him to you today and get a little feedback from him as to his experience being with Augusta. So how did you first hear about Augusta?
Good morning, Liz. So I heard about Augusta I've been listening to Mike for a while. So before he franchised out, so that's how I heard about it. Was just following him before it really took off in the franchise world.
How many years ago do you think that was?
So we started in 29 at the end of 2019. I don't know, I want to say 2 or 3 years, something like that, before we started.
And now it's 2023, so you've been with us for a while.
Yeah.
And you were you were the very first franchisee who signed up with Augusta. So you're the OG, you're the number one.
Yeah, it was exciting for me, that's for sure. The moment Mike mentioned he was franchising, I could not wait to get on board.
So what was the final thing that caused you to want to commit to the franchise?
Well, I mean, so like I was saying, I've been listening to him for a while, and the way he spoke about creating culture, building a business that a team would support, the ability to create a business that could eventually run without the owner, and the opportunity to make a difference, not just a profit. Everything he talked about really before he offered the franchise, I really felt like there was something special happening there. And before he mentioned the franchise, I even thought about moving to Washington and trying to work for Mike, just so I can get closer to him and learn what he had to offer. That's how much I was bought into it. So the final thing was just him saying he was franchising. That was it for me.
So he was already vetted in your mind because of watching the content. Was it his transparency or his character or him as a person? Did any of that seem attractive to you?
I'd say yes to all of that, everything. You could just tell he was a genuine person that cared, and he was building something special. And I listened to a few other YouTubers and listened to a few other podcasters, and he had that Jonathan Potoshnik lawn care millionaire kind of vibe going. Like, you can build something that you don't have to necessarily be there every single day if you don't want to eventually, and it could run without you. And some of the other creators seemed like they were still in their business and didn't seem like they were figuring a way out, or they were comfortable being in it. And I knew I was getting older, and I would like to build something that I did not have to stay in if I didn't want to. So that was definitely the difference with Mike. He was just all of that.
Did you have a lawn care business before you came to Augusta?
I tiptoed into it a little bit here and there, but I was, like I said, I was not super. I was moving back and forth from Florida to Colorado a few times, so I would start one, stop, move, start one, stop, move, and I was just all over the map, still figuring things out for myself. So a little bit, nothing serious like where we're at.
And what did you offer? A lawn care and landscaping, or?
Yes, and it was mostly maintenance, but we also did installs as well.
Okay, so simple services.
For the most part.
Yeah. Okay. So how has your journey been with Augusta so far? What, your expectation of what it would be and what it is in reality?
Well, I mean, since I had this particular vantage point, I've experienced the evolution of Augusta from its birth as far as the franchise level goes. And just when I think we're at the top of the mountain or we're miles ahead in the industry, Mike implements this new thing, and he keeps Augusta light years ahead of the competition. So it's been great, and I truly feel blessed to be a part of Augusta.
So because you're the very first person, you've been a part of the birth pains of everything we've gone through. And from the very beginning to now, there's been so much change, and that's what makes Augusta what it is that we see where we fail, and then we put in another system and we implement it and change it and we move forward. Now, you've been a part of some of those first painful parts, and we appreciate your feedback throughout. And we've had the very beginning all the way up till we started the command center, which actually handles calls, emails, and does everything that an office manager would do. Can you explain a little bit of the frustrations and how we've worked through our relationships? And I have all the staff here at Command Center, and so there's times in any relationship where it's tense, and you have to kind of decide, like, is this worth it for me to keep working with these people? Are we still better together? Or can you explain a little bit about your evolution with us?
Yeah, I mean, when I first signed up with Augusta, Command Center wasn't even, from what if I remember correctly, that wasn't even.
It wasn't even thought of.
Yeah, it wasn't even, well, I don't know if it was thought of, but definitely I wasn't aware of it. And right before we got to the training, he mentioned it. And I was just blown away by that alone. I was, that is amazing. And it just kept getting better and better. Everything just kept getting better and better. And as far as the learning curve coming from the beginning of the franchise is, I assumed there would be bumps and hiccups along the way, and that's kind of the price I was willing to accept. Getting in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
I was more than fine with that because like I said, believed in Mike's genuine. The fact I believed he had everyone's best in mind, so I wasn't really
Mm-hmm.
concerned with it. I knew there'd be little hiccups here and there, but I was fine with that.
Yeah, so we've gotten better as we've gone along, and especially the first franchisees. Yeah, they might have some perks that some others don't because they got in at the very beginning, but we did know that it was because we were not very experienced, and that the franchisees were going to have to trial things with us and put up with us as we grew throughout the process. And what I've appreciated is that throughout us growing at Command Center, me hiring new people, and us building, from generalists to specialists at Command Center and getting more and more talented people. You were working with some amateur people. So as in everything, some of us are really good at some things and some at others. And it's taken a while for us to evolve and then put people in positions that they're really good at. And so, for instance, for the viewer, we take the place of kind of an office manager. So we would manage emails and such. And so we would find out, and Thomas' feedback was a really good part of this was, okay, we would answer an email one day and it would be beautifully written, a nice beginning, a nice meat of the topic, and then a closing. And he would be like, oh, that's better than I could do. And then the next day there would be an email and it would be, your job is scheduled for Tuesday. Nothing else, no signature, nothing. And as a business owner, that's extremely frustrating because that's not the way you would have ever written an email yourself to a customer. And so over time, we've gotten better at that. But in the middle of it, it causes such a like a frustration and like a pulling back of services. And that's where I appreciated that Thomas was very honest. And when we would go through those times, Thomas would say, okay, I'm going to back off on this and I'm going to handle this myself, but I'll let you handle this. And then as you've watched, do you feel like you have more confidence now as you watched us mature?
Oh, by far, yeah, big time. Yeah, it's come a very long way, and it is. I even watched some of the training videos, the updated ones, just to kind of freshen up in some of my downtime here in Colorado, and it's night and day. It is so much better, and I've even learned. It's amazing. I've even learned a few things, or reminded me of a few things that I may not have implemented right away and things like that. But no, it is definitely way better. It's getting better every day. It's pretty awesome, really.
How do you feel being a part of Augusta has benefited you as an overall person, like in your personal, spiritual, your personage as a whole?
It's helped me out a lot. I mean, I could go on with that for a very long time. I don't know if we have enough video for all of that. It's helped me out a lot. Helped me out with understanding business better. I look at businesses differently now. The the people that are on in Augusta, they're very special. They care about you. They have your back. They help you in it. They're just very supportive. Before Augusta, I tried running my own company, but I got in my own way. Um, I was drinking on the weekends, things like that. I wasn't really committed. Uh, and now, I feel like I have a support system that helps hold me accountable,
Mhm.
helps strengthen my weaknesses. It feels like a family. There's clear paths to choose between in order to help reach my goals. The learning never ends. I love it. It's benefited me in a lot of ways. I mean, I guess if I had to sum it up in a few words, I'd say it'd be personal development. I just love it. Yeah, it's benefited me in a lot of ways.
So you actually feel like in certain parts of your life as a person that you completely turned a corner and went another way, even with habits and things, because of the influence and the support of being with Augusta?
Definitely. Yeah, I feel like I've shed my old skin and I'm living a new life, if you will.
Yeah, well, we are so thrilled to have you along the way. So if you had to start over again, what do you think you would do different?
If I had to start over again, I would I'd follow the systems from day one. I was one of the ones that veered off a little bit here and there, but I would follow all of the advice, all of the systems, everything from day one. I would not try to do anything different. I'd also delegate more tasks to command center sooner rather than later. I was one of those people that felt like I had to have control of things, and
Hmm.
it was a little harder for me to let go of delegating. And command center is just so wonderful, and I would have handed things off to them way sooner than later. Yeah.
That's incredible. So what are your long-term goals now for your location?
So for this location, I actually want to have 6 locations right here in the area. And
Fantastic.
yeah, I want to have 6 locations. I want to get each of them up to 6 to 800,000 each, and then get a regional general manager to oversee all of that. And then let's just get to there first, and then we'll decide from there. Maybe
Yeah,
open
so
Florida.
wow, that sounds fantastic. So that model that you're talking about, is that the new model that Augusta has started, the executive model?
Yeah. Hmm.
And from your understanding, how does that all work? Do you buy six at once? Do you have to start six at once?
Yeah, so I won't be buying 6 at once. I know they do have that option if somebody
Mm-hmm.
has the capital to do that. I'd rather I don't have the capital for starters, and I'm going to just do one at a time and go from there.
So
Unless
you're
we have
saying
I'm saying,
you're,
sorry, yeah, unless we have a good year, and I'm like, all right, let's start 2 of them this year. Let's
mm-hmm,
start 2 of them that year, or we'll go from that. We'll see how that all take that day by day, but the ultimate goal is 6 at a time or
mm-hmm.
6.
Okay, so six is the number you have in mind, it's not necessarily that executive model that you're talking about where a venture capitalist would buy six at a time and then start six. That's just the personal number that you've designated for yourself to start one at a time.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely feeds off the executive model idea. It's just the difference is I'm probably not gonna like dump all of that capital into it at once to open 6 at a time.
Yeah, yeah, that
But
sounds very wise. And then how many employees do you have
oh, we got
in the spring or like in the busy season? How many do you typically have?
anywhere from 4 to 6 is kind of where we're at right now in the busy season of spring.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And is your thought to have services very simple and then to build up somebody that's already in your company to become a GM and then you start the second one?
So definitely keep it simple.
Hmm.
Keep all the services simple, and definitely start. helping create general managers from within. As far as once we start opening new locations, my plan right now is to get get a GM to go start the new location, because I just turned 43 and I'd like to focus on the mothership, if you will, and let them go do the working general manager thing while I focus on getting this one to a profit machine. And kind of just start focusing on having it that way, where GMs, I basically kick them out to start a new one and kind of help guide them along the way.
Hmm.
It's kind of
And
my
so
mind.
these six, would you try to have them in territories right around the mothership?
Yeah, yes,
That
definitely.
sounds cool. And then the way Mike teaches, does he usually set a certain amount? Like when you get to this certain amount, you should hire an office manager, or when you get to this certain amount, you need to decide whether you're just going to keep it stable or and not grow so much, or this is the time to buy a second one. So does he give a number that you would probably want to start a second one at? Or do you have a number in mind?
Um, so once we get past the 500 mark, we can focus on profitability, and we can decide from there to kick off a new location.
I see.
Kind of where I'm planning on going.
Very cool. So, to wrap things up, I just want to thank you for being a part of Augusta and to be patient with us while we've gone through all of this growth and the friendships and the relationships that we've built over time. There's just no words to explain. And in a lifetime, none of us would ever even come together or known one another without Augusta. And we're very aware that it's a very rare and wonderful thing, especially that you are at the beginning of it all and the foundation of what we're building.
Yeah, I feel blessed to be here. I love it. I can't imagine life without it right now. I feel truly blessed to be a part of this.
And I feel the same. So, to wrap things up, do you have a favorite quote? I love words, I love quotes. And if you have one that you could share with us, we'd appreciate it.
Oh, I am a quote person. I love quotes. Geez.
You can give me 10 even.
Yeah, coming from growing up in poverty, I there's definitely a quote that sticks out to me that I've held on to that helped me. And that's, if you want to change your life, you must first change your mindset. Um, that one's definitely helped me out, and it's stuck with me. So
There's a lot packed into that line.
yeah, if you want to change your life, you must first change your mindset. That's definitely a big one for me.
And that's the kind of people we have, folks. That's the wonderful people that are part of Augusta, people that change their mindset to build something great together. Thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate you sharing your experience with us.
Thank you, Liz. Absolutely.
You have a great day.
You as well.
Bye bye.